In our third film of the Lotus-Born Master trilogy, the Dakini Code, Lotus-Born Master and the Event Horizon, we actually go to each of the different caves where the Lotus-Born Masters 5 wisdom Dakini each in turn meditated and came to their own Siddhi powers. And of course, in each of these locations, we're seeking what was the quantum energy field that they were tapping into, the field that ultimately they came to represent. And in each of these cases, we went looking for their caves. So on this third expedition, we went to the respective caves that each of the Lotus-Born Masters, 5 wisdom Dakinis, stayed in and meditated. And in these caves, we sought to understand what they were tapping into, what kind of energy fields. Why are we in caves? First of all, the cave itself represents Mother Earth. It is the womb. It is that, so we say, entry point into a wormhole that opens up a universe of its own. Also, a lot of these caves are near water sites. Water, of course, contains an enormous amount of ions. It's a place where information is stored. It's where information can be drawn down from. Water actually is our own body. We're 80% water, 70% water, something like that, and the rest is electromagnetic energy. So actually, by being in the water field, we are in the field. And so I think that's why a lot of these great masters, yogis, yoginis, and of course the Dakinis themselves, came to these cave networks where they stayed, meditated, and became closer to earth, water, the sun, and the sky. Closer in the end to their own energy field, which is part of this whole rediscovery. The whole point of this meditative process is to actually come back into line with the organic energies of the universe. The methodologies of having different deities for visualization are actually tools and systems that connect oneself with the universe of which we are a part, only a small derivative of, ultimately to connect back with ourselves, ultimately to realize the nature of reality or the nature of our own existence, and to then in the end be in that existence. And that's why they had to get away from the cacophony of these towns, palaces, royalty, all of that stuff, and come back to the essential nature of what reality is or is not. And that could only be achieved in a state of isolation or going into the cave. A lot of the time these caves are actually made of crystalline rock, natural crystal rock, such as this. You can actually see the reflections of many, many particles in here. If you actually start to break away the rock, inside is actually chunks of crystal. And why did they choose these caves? Of course, the Dakini is associated with crystal. Crystal's always used as an offering to the Dakini. And really, crystal itself is, you could say, fossilized water, if you wanted to use a mundane term. But it itself, it is a very, very complex structure. And in that complexity of that structure, it can hold information. And of course, we later did in the second film, Return of the Lotus-Born Master, we heard one of the journalists who's covered the space program talk about how crystal chips are used in quantum communication for the quantum satellites and how they're unhackable. And this again attests to the scientific function of crystal as a complex vibratory substance that can hold vast amounts of information. That's why the Dakinis came to the crystal caves. And that's why, symbolically, we always give crystal as an offering to the Dakinis.